So the North Korean general Ri Yong-gil was reported as executed by the international media and most governments, and he turned up alive about less than a year later. The same thing happened to the singer in 2013 called Hyung Sung-wol, or Wol. Anyway, there was a lot of speculation for why she was executed. I mean, it was denounced by governments everywhere. There was outrage everywhere. They said, well, maybe it's because she had a Bible, or she was caught doing a pornographic film, or maybe because she was Kim Jong-un's ex-girlfriend. Well, guess what? She turned up alive about a year later. This has happened multiple times. These are just two of the ones that really stood out to me. There's also this Shin Dong-hyuk, who was a famous North Korean defector and subject of the book Escape from Camp 14. Now, this book was the first of its kind, had a huge impact on how we perceive North Korea. The UN had him to testify and is being quoted still worldwide. Now, he has already recanted that most of the things in that book are in fact fabricated, but yet no revisions have been made, and it's still widely distributed without any type of footnote or explanation. We're also told that like the border of China and North Korea is like this heavily guarded, militarized zone built with high fences and walls to keep the North Koreans in, when in reality, this is what it actually looks like. This is taken from the Chinese side, right? That little pond, that little stream, you hop over that, you're in North Korea. And anyway, then I also had someone who had commented that I quoted, that I liked, who said they were recently in China on a very near the border, and it was actually quite peaceful. The Chinese side selling popsicles and giving boat rides to tourists. The North Koreans washing their clothes on the side and waiting to boats and yada yada. Now, you might ask yourself, why am I telling you these things? And it's because you should question everything. Because the Western media has a way of framing things, especially the interests of the West. I capito. Just to give you guys a little history, throw it out, the little history of North Korea that maybe you don't know, okay? North Korea, well, all of Korea was under Japanese rule. And as you know, probably, the Japanese were extremely cruel. I mean, they were just extremely cruel. They were cruel to prisoners of war that were from the West during World War II. They were cruel to Koreans. They're extremely racist. They were extremely racist. I'm sure that's not the case now with all Japanese. But it was horrible, right? They were torturing, just doing unspeakable things to these poor Korean people. Then the Second World War broke out. Once the Allies defeated Japan, North Korea was split. South Korea went under the protection of the United States, if you will. And Northern Korea was taken in by the Soviet Union, became the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea, or whatever you want to call it. And it was kind of allied with China and the Soviet Union. Now, after a while, the United States kind of left the occupation of South Korea, retreated, didn't leave many forces there. And then battles and friction started at the border. You know, each one of these countries believed that they were the rightful government for the whole of Korea. And, you know, rightfully so, I can understand. Anyway, so these battles escalated. Eventually, you know, an attack from South Korea happened in North Korea. North Korea took that as an opportunity to declare war. We don't know if it was, you know, how bad it was, whatever. Let's just say North Korea ended up invading South Korea. They did it very quickly and took over Seoul, practically took over entire of Korea, right? Eventually, the UN and the United States decided that their interests in South Korea were strong enough that they should defend, so they framed it as, oh, it's not fair, something needs to be done, and so they went in and liberated it. You know, the actual people of South Korea, would they have been happy under North Korea? If you ask them now, they'll tell you no. But actually, there wasn't some sort of like, killing of innocent people, you know. Most of the people just accepted it or were actually enthusiastic about North Korea taking over. So it wasn't some sort of massacre of civilians or anything like that. So from that standpoint, if you try and you want to explain, and you're like, oh, no, the United States did it out of the goodness of their heart. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Everything the United States does, everything the West does, that has specific interests. So anyway, that's kind of how that went down. The history of Kim Jong-un, the ruler of North Korea, and I know you guys hear things all the time, think he's a fool, you know, that may be the case, but, you know, he rules North Korea. His grandfather, I believe, actually was part of the resistance. So there was these resistance groups that lived in the mountains and attacked Japanese forces during the Japanese occupation. And Kim Jong-un's grandfather was the leader of those groups. So it's a very interesting tale. It's a lot of intrigue and things going on. But anyway, the point of the matter is that the poverty and the issues that North Korea, that are afflicted there, is mainly because of Western embargoes. They're not allowed to be part of the international banking system. They're not allowed to trade. I mean, it's crippling. And this is a critique that I put on when they were talking about Russia and sanctions. I was like, all of these sanctions starve the people. It hurts the people. The people at the top that are leading these countries, they don't care about the embargoes. They're not the ones hurting. So it's just punishing people. And then we come in and we act like we're the saviors when we're the ones that put the embargoes in. And what is it that North Korea is doing that's so bad? What is it that they're doing? What, that it's a communist country that we don't agree with? That's the reality. But, and then we fabricate these stories to demonize them and make it look like it's worse than it is. Now, does it mean like they're not? And I just hate saying bad because ultimately it's not black and white. Has horrible things happened? Are people starved over there? Have people been murdered and there's killings going on, political or whatever? Yes. But is the same stuff happening in the United States? Yes. You can't point the finger at North Korea and a lot of these other countries without having two pointed back at you. And that's the irony of it. And that's the only thing that I'm trying to point out here is that these embargoes, that's really my position that I hate, is the embargoes. Like for some reason, the United States thinks, we should police the world. And I don't like it. I don't like that we send people. I was in the military. I don't like that we send people to die over there. And we should at least be transparent with the reasons why. This is the reasons why. We want to keep trade lines open. We want to keep our interests strong in the region. And a lot of times we just want to keep countries that don't align with us, that don't benefit us. We want to keep them down. We want to keep them from developing. The only way you can prosper in the world today is if your political views align with those of the West and the United States. How is that fair? And we just accept that. I don't know. But, these are my thoughts. I'm just trying to give you a different point of view. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just telling you, this is the world we live in, so open your eyes. Anyway, what do you guys think about North Korea? Obviously it's not someplace I'm running over there to visit, but a lot of people do visit. It is what it is. These people should be allowed to trade and be part of the global economy like anyone else. And they say, oh, what about the nuclear weapons? Everybody's got nuclear weapons. Everybody's got nuclear weapons. So what? What does that mean? You got to decide, okay? You either attack a country, you obliterate them, they don't allow it to exist because they're a threat, or you leave them alone. There's no point in neutering and keeping an entire country and keeping the people suffering for no damn reason. I don't know. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please subscribe, stick around. I'm going to do another video about all of these Apple Store electronics mass shoplifting sprees where these people just run up in the place and just start jacking shit. All right, we're going to look at some videos. I'm going to tell you what's going on, why it's going on, what do I think, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, buy red and sell green.